What is happening, Hollywood men fans? Get ready to have your minds blown because the news cycle is moving at lightning speed, and we've got the absolute hottest updates hitting you right now. We're diving headfirst into the whirlwind of what's new, what's trending, and what you absolutely cannot afford to miss. We're talking about figures who defied expectations, massive financial shifts that are turning heads, and heartfelt gestures that remind us of the power of human connection. You think you know what's going on? Think again. We're breaking it all down, giving you the inside scoop and the real story behind the headlines. So buckle up, because you're about to get the inside track on the moments that matter. First up, we're looking at an individual who was initially brought in for a brief stint, but has since become an absolutely indispensable figure in a high-profile project. Next, we're diving into a story that highlights an incredible financial turnaround. Imagine a situation where one entity was spending 8 times more than another, only for the roles to completely reverse. This is a tale of ambition, strategic investment, and a dramatic shift in financial power. Then, we have a deeply moving account of a gesture that transcended the usual boundaries. A significant figure reached out to a grieving family with a surprise tribute that brought comfort and a lasting connection, turning a moment of loss into something remarkably special. And finally, we're examining expert commentary on significant financial outlays and future plans. A seasoned voice is weighing in on the spending strategies of a prominent team, suggesting that the key decision-makers might be hearing more than they expected about future investments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of these incredible updates. An unlikely pillar of success. Rob Mack and Ryan Reynolds' acquisition of Wrexham AFC in 2021 marked the beginning of an extraordinary chapter for the club, characterized by unprecedented success both on and off the pitch. Their stewardship has propelled Wrexham from the National League all the way to the Championship, a remarkable feat accompanied by a significant increase in the club's valuation, reportedly nearing £350 million, making it a powerhouse outside the Premier League. While the dedication of Mack and Reynolds has been central to this transformation, the contributions of key personnel have been equally vital. Manager Phil Parkinson has been instrumental in building a winning squad, with players like Paul Mullen and Ollie Palmer consistently delivering. Alongside them, CEO Michael Williamson and directors Humphrey Kerr and Sean Harvey have provided crucial strategic guidance. Sean Harvey, in particular, was initially brought on as an advisor with a very limited scope. His background is impressive, having served as CEO for Leeds United and the Football League between 2013 and 2019. However, his role at Wrexham was intended to be a short-term engagement, estimated by Rob Mack and Ryan Reynolds to be around 6 weeks. Ryan Reynolds himself admitted, this really started as a temporary gig for him. Rob Mack further elaborated, stating, he was supposed to do this for 6 weeks, maybe at the most. The situation evolved rapidly, with the initial 6-week period extending to 6 months and eventually becoming what Ryan Reynolds described as a full-time, lifetime position. Reynolds emphasized Harvey's critical importance, saying, I don't know where we'd be without him. Sean is a one-of-one. Harvey's influence has been far-reaching, playing a key role in the acquisition and redevelopment of the racecourse ground and the overall management of the club. In a recent episode of Welcome to Wrexham, Harvey discussed the evolution of his role following Michael Williamson's appointment as CEO. When I first came to Wrexham in 2021, after leaving my role as the CEO of the EFL in 2019, I was an advisor to the board, Harvey explained. It was mostly part-time, but as the club experienced rapid growth and expansion, my role became a more permanent position with broader responsibilities. He noted the shift in his day-to-day involvement. My role changed when the decision to bring in a new CEO was made. The biggest change is that I no longer have day-to-day responsibility. I still sit on the board with directors and provide to Michael and his team history and lessons that we've learned so far on this journey. Harvey concluded by affirming his commitment to the club's progress, stating, the club had to change to move forward, and that meant me taking on a new role. The club's success is more important than the degree to which I'm involved, so I'm cautiously optimistic moving forward in this new role. But what if we told you that Wrexham's current financial might dwarfs even their past rivals? Get ready to explore how Wrexham is now outspending teams they once could only dream of competing with. From underdogs to overspenders. Wrexham AFC's ascent, since Ryan Reynolds and Rob Mack took the helm in 2021, has been nothing short of meteoric. Having ended a decade-long absence from the top tier of English football in 2023, the club has since achieved record-breaking consecutive promotions, culminating in their return to the Championship after a 43-year hiatus. This remarkable journey is underpinned by substantial financial backing from the ownership and astute management by Phil Parkinson. To sustain this upward trajectory and realize Ryan Reynolds' ambition of reaching the Premier League, Wrexham has significantly ramped up its spending in the current transfer window. They are now competing financially with established Championship clubs, shattering their previous transfer record with acquisitions like Lewis O'Brien and Nathan Broadhead. This level of expenditure starkly contrasts with the club's financial standing in the early years of Reynolds and Mack's ownership. Their initial encounter with Championship-level competition occurred during the 2022-23 FA Cup season. After defeating lower league opponents, Wrexham faced Coventry City, a Championship side, in the third round. Humphrey Kerr, speaking in the second season of Welcome to Wrexham, highlighted the vast chasm between the two clubs, not just in league standing, but also in financial resources. So how big is the gap between Wrexham and Coventry? Well, other than the fact that they're 2 full leagues above us, obviously, their wage bill is almost double ours and their stadium holds 3 times the capacity. It's pretty big, Kerr remarked. Despite this disparity, Wrexham secured a memorable 4-3 victory, advancing to face Sheffield United, another Championship club, in the 4th round. Ahead of that match, Kerr reiterated the financial gulf, stating, "Remember the financial disparity between us, Wrexham and Coventry City? How they were double our wages. Well, Sheffield United has 8 times our wages." Wrexham once again proved competitive, forcing a replay before ultimately losing 3-1 at Bramall Lane. Fast forward just 2.5 years, and Wrexham is now not only competing against Sheffield United and Coventry City on the field, but is also eclipsing them in the transfer market. Astonishingly, Wrexham has emerged as the highest spender in the Championship this summer, reportedly investing £23.5 million in new signings, including the record-breaking acquisition of Nathan Broadhead. In comparison, Sheffield United has spent just under £2 million, and Coventry City approximately £3.5 million. This means Wrexham has outspent these 2 Championship mainstays by a staggering £18 million. Only Norwich City, with a spend of £21.5 million, comes close to Wrexham's investment in the 2025 summer window. It's a story of ambition and financial power, but is this spending spree matched by an equally ambitious manager? Stay tuned as we explore the commentary on Wrexham's significant investments and what it means for their future. A hero's lasting tribute. The tragic passing of 15-year-old Aidan Waller, a devoted Wrexham AFC fan, has been met with a profoundly touching gesture from club co-owner Ryan Reynolds. Aidan, who battled osteosarcoma, a rare and aggressive bone cancer, for 3 years, had his ashes scattered on the Wrexham pitch earlier this year. In a bid to preserve his memory before the pitch was replaced for the new season, Reynolds arranged for a piece of the hallowed turf, where Aidan's ashes were spread, to be encased in a glass plaque. This deeply personal tribute was presented to Aidan's family during Wrexham's match against West Brom. Aidan's mother, Sarah Waller, shared the emotional impact of the gift with BBC Radio Wales Breakfast, describing it as an unexpected and incredibly moving moment. "They presented it to us in a lovely glass case with text on the top that says Aidan Waller, Wrexham legend, friend to Deadpool. Then, now, forever," she recounted. Sarah highlighted Ryan Reynolds' meticulous attention to detail, noting that he personally refined the inscription multiple times to ensure it was absolutely perfect. She added that Reynolds expressed that the act of giving the gift was special for him, too. The plaque, as Sarah explained, was designed so that the correct lighting could create a rainbow effect, a suggestion made by Reynolds himself. The family had been aware that the pitch would be replaced after Aidan's ashes were scattered, a decision Reynolds had sought their consent for. "He phoned me the day after the funeral and said, 'Can we spread the ashes on the pitch?' He sneakily put a bit in the goal," Sarah revealed, explaining Reynolds' intention to preserve that specific piece of the pitch for Aiden. Sarah spoke of the immense impact Aiden had on those around him, even those he never knew, describing him as the strongest, bravest, most inspiring kid I've ever met. She detailed his courageous fight against cancer, marked by humor and an indomitable spirit despite facing repeated bad news. Reynolds had previously shared a photo on his Instagram account showing the family scattering Aiden's ashes on the pitch in March, and later shared another image of the family receiving the plaque. It just goes to show how much appreciation Reynolds has for the fans that he's willing to put this much effort in making sure we are heard, Sarah stated, emphasizing the connection the tribute would provide, especially for a family from Essex. This act of kindness underscores Reynolds' deep commitment to the Wrexham community and its supporters. Such a powerful display of empathy is heartwarming, but how does this connect to the broader financial strategies of the club? We're about to find out as we examine expert opinions on Wrexham's spending. Expert takes on Wrexham's spending surge. As Wrexham AFC continues its ambitious push to establish itself in the Championship, manager Phil Parkinson has been actively investing in the squad during the summer transfer window. The club's spending, which began with the arrivals of Ryan Hardy and Danny Ward, has escalated significantly. Notable acquisitions include Liberato Kakis in a then-club record deal from Empoli and Callum Doyle from Manchester City. In total, Rob Mack and Ryan Reynolds have backed Parkinson's recruitment drive with over £20 million in transfers, resulting in 10 new signings so far, with the manager indicating further additions are possible. This aggressive spending strategy has inevitably sparked debate among fans and pundits alike. While rival supporters often dismiss Wrexham's success as a mere consequence of financial power, the club maintains that its spending adheres to all financial regulations and is facilitated by its ownership structure. The narrative surrounding Wrexham's financial approach has now drawn commentary from prominent sports broadcaster Jeff Stelling. Speaking on the TalkSport Breakfast Show, Stelling pointed out the striking figure of Wrexham's £23 million preseason spending, noting it was just shy of the amount spent by Champions League finalists Inter Milan. Stelling's key observation was Parkinson's continued desire for more signings, suggesting this might not be welcome news for Reynolds and Mack, who have already funded substantial player acquisitions. I want to touch on Wrexham, because obviously it's been this incredible upward climb they've had, but they've spent £23 in preseason at the moment. That's just less than Inter Milan, and their manager Phil Parkinson admits the spending might not be over. Now, if I'm Ryan Reynolds or Rob McElhenney, those are not words I want to hear, Stelling commented. However, he also acknowledged the owner's deep commitment to Wrexham, highlighting their willingness to bring in new investors like the Allain family, which alleviates the direct financial burden on Reynolds and Mack. Stelling's remarks were echoed by co-host Ally McCoist, who posited that a natural plateau in the club's rapid ascent was inevitable. McCoist believes the Championship represents this plateau, suggesting Wrexham might require a couple of seasons to consolidate before making a serious bid for Premier League promotion. He feels most Wrexham fans understand this reality, noting that early season results might indicate the team needs time to adapt to the Championship's level. There has to be a realization, I think there probably is with the Wrexham fans who are on this wonderful journey. It's never just going to be climb, climb, climb. They were going to have to find their level. I think they've more than found it right now, and results in this early stage of the season would indicate that, McCoist stated. Despite a slow start to the 2024-25 campaign, with only 1 point from their first 3 games, a similar pattern was observed in the 2023-24 season when Wrexham experienced a sluggish start in League Two before ultimately achieving promotion. While replicating that success presents a challenge, Wrexham is expected to adapt and pose a significant threat in the Championship, especially if Parkinson secures additional signings. So, while the spending is high and the commentary is sharp, the ultimate goal remains the Premier League. What does this mean for the club's long-term vision and fan expectations? And that's a wrap on today's explosive news. We saw an advisor become a lifer at Wrexham, a massive financial flip-flop compared to rivals, a touching tribute from Ryan Reynolds to a young fan, and expert opinions on Wrexham's spending spree. You won't want to miss what's coming next, so make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and follow us on all social media platforms. We'll see you next time.